Why is active learning so important? This graph shows that when performing learning activities, people generally remember 70 to 90% of what they say, write, and do. Saying, writing, and doing are all active forms of learning. In contrast, passive learning includes reading, hearing, and seeing, and generally people only remember 10 to 50% of this information. The graph also shows that people are able to analyze, define, create, and evaluate when they're actively learning. When they're passively learning, they can define, list, describe, demonstrate, and apply, but they are not able to create, evaluate, or analyze, which are important in student learning. Our textbook, Student Engagement Techniques by Elizabeth Barkley, lists lots of tips and strategies for teachers to promote active learning. These include being clear on your learning goals, clarifying your role as the teacher and orienting students to their new roles, helping students develop learning strategies, activate prior learning, teach in ways that promote effective transfer, teach for retention, provide opportunities for guided practice and rehearsal, organize lectures in ways that promote active learning, use reverse or inverted classroom organization, and use grading rubrics to give learners frequent and useful feedback. In this PowerPoint presentation, I will be focusing on grading rubrics specifically. Why are grading rubrics used as a strategy for active learning? Well, students need to know what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong so they can adjust and improve their learning, and rubrics help teachers give the students feedback. Rubrics can range in complexity, but some best practices for building grading rubrics include making sure the rubric consists of a task description and other components of the task, as well as descriptions of the range of performance for each component and a scale to rate how well or how poorly any given task has been performed. There are many benefits for teachers who use grading rubrics. It allows for more consistency in teachers' grading, less anguish when grading because expectations are clearly spelled out. Grading assignments takes less time. Rubrics reinforce core learning goals if used for all assignments. And using rubrics can help teachers offer more complex and challenging assignments because they're presented in a clear and organized manner. There are many benefits for students too. Rubrics are commonly used, which makes them familiar to students, and familiarity increases comfortability. Rubrics help students develop an understanding and skill. Students receive clear and guided feedback. Students can assess their own work by seeing where they stand on the rubric. They help students understand the goals of the assignment, help students receive honest and unbiased grades, and finally, feedback improves student learning by showing them the strengths and weaknesses of their work. There are also some cons to using grading rubrics for both teachers and students. For teachers, rubrics are not entirely self-explanatory, so they require time to explain. Rubric assessment for creative writing can be difficult. Rubrics are not entirely successful in assessing student progress, and teachers must be sure they're meeting all of their curriculum outcomes. For students, rubrics do not address individual differences and skills students have. They can decrease grading objectivity. They do not take outside influences into account, such as what the student's first language is. And sometimes students will make their work reflect teachers' criteria rather than demonstrate their own critical thinking skills. In conclusion, there are many strategies and tips to promote active learning in the classroom. Grading rubrics help teachers give students constructive feedback and therefore promote active learning. Thanks for watching my presentation. That's all for now.